The year is 1994. The United States of America is in the middle of its midterm elections. The Republican Party has been doing exponentially well, thanks to the Republican Revolution, filling in seats in both the House and the Senate. Across the country, Republicans are snatching governorship positions as well, such as in Florida. Two polarizing candidates are running for governor. Previous Florida Governor Lawton Chiles, an ailing Democrat with a steeply dropping approval ratings, and Jeb Bush, a younger Republican candidate who is riding off the success of his father's recent presidency. Clearly, Jeb has his election in the bag. But wait, what did Lawton just say about raccoons? And now his approval ratings are suddenly rising, and he's just beat Jeb Bush for governorship by a slim 2%. Stop. Rewind. What happened? How did Lawton Chiles win against such insurmountable odds?
And on. My mama told me, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. But let me tell you, one other thing.
Our story starts long before 1994. In fact, our story starts all the way back in 1958. Lawton Chiles was born on April 3rd, 1930, in Polk County, Florida. He would spend the majority of his life living in Florida, a self-proclaimed Florida cracker, that meaning he spawned from a long lineage of Floridians. After earning his bachelor's at the University of Florida, he was drafted into the Korean War. After the war, he spent the next few decades working his way up the political ladder.
He was an incredible presence in Florida. I don't think, arguably, there is a larger presence. I mean, people will forget, memories fade, but I don't think there's a bigger presence in Florida than Lawton Chiles.
Lawton Chiles was always a man of the people. In 1970, Lawton tried his hand for a seat in the Senate. In a campaign stunt, Lawton walked 1,003 miles across Florida, talking to the inhabitants and making bonds with people. This campaign was extremely successful, and Lawton was gifted the nickname Walkin' Lawton after his trek across Florida. His sense of nationalism and transparency of his audience truly pictured him as an honest man, a very valuable attribute in a period full of corruption and paranoia.
The universal appeal of that man was really the reason why he won. He practiced retail politics, which means he wanted to shake every hand and be at every event.
And he stayed an honest man before finally reaching Florida governorship in 1991. Lawton Chiles was a people's person. He genuinely believed in democracy, and the power was in the people's hands. As such a well-known figure, his run for governor in 1994 seemed guaranteed. However, there was one problem. Lawton Chiles was a representative of the Democratic Party, and, at the time, the entire country was primarily Republican.
1994 comes, and the Republicans are saying Lawton is beatable. We've got it. They want to throw incumbents out all over the country. Bill Clinton and the healthcare reform that he and the First Lady did really upset people. And then you had the contract with America for 1990 with Newt Gingrich in 94. So you had this groundswell of Republicans that were just ready to take down Democrats all over the country. And Lawton was one of them.
Election after election, Republicans came out on top as the victor. Even worse, Lawton's opponent is none other than Jeb Bush, the same Jeb Bush whose father, George H.W. Bush, was currently serving his time as president. Jeb Bush not only appealed to the Republican audience, but he also held popular views amongst the younger generation, being liberal crime, pro-life, wanting change the education system, and lenient on taxes.
So lo and behold, in the primary, Gallagher's sitting there, and Crenshaw, and Jim Smith, and it's not, it doesn't look good for anybody whose name's not Bush. It just doesn't. And so Jim Smith backed out. He ran for ag commissioner. Gallagher and Crenshaw got killed, and Bush wins. And then you got Lawton.
The odds were stacked against Chiles. In fact, he was set to lose his election, simply not having a popular vote, holding views that actively worked against his campaign.
We were sort of at a distinct competitive disadvantage because we were only able to raise money one $100 bill at a time. Governor Chiles was very insistent that that was not to change because he did not want to feel like that he was in the pocket or beholden to any particular financial or moneyed interest.
Chiles is a beautiful speaker, being able to charm even the most hesitant of crowds, but against an invisible opponent with such a tactical and strong campaign, Chiles was left struggling to find his footing in the race for governor. However, all of this changed on November 1st, 1994, the day Jeb Bush and Lawton Chiles debated live on television for all of Florida to watch. Jeb Bush's beliefs and number of Republican supporters towered over Chiles, but Jeb Bush made one fatal mistake. He underestimated Lawton Chiles' ability to capture the stage. Jeb Bush starts the debate by making a sly comment about Chiles, claiming that he is old, outdated, and unwilling to aid America. However, Chiles defends himself with honor. Chiles not only supports his strong beliefs, but he tactically turns the tables back on the Bush, utilizing slang and analogies, but most importantly, done all with a smile. Chiles' charm and ability to preach what he genuinely believes is right makes him feel real. He acts to give the people the choice to change Florida, to do what they want, all while making Jeb Bush look like a sly liar, only putting on a mask to get elected.
What happened in that debate was you saw a very aggressive and nimble Lawton Chiles that we've not seen before. His brain was working at a much faster pace than it had been in the past, and just in terms of his quick reactions.
Chiles came out rolling a numerous number of counterclaims and comments, talking less like a politician and more like a Floridian. And then he says the famous line that changed the world.
The old he-coon walks just before the light of day.
Everybody thought that Lawton was phoning it in, and then he says the he-coon walks it before the daylight. And that said something to everybody in North Florida. Like, I'm still one of you. I'm still a hillbilly that's tougher than woodpecker lips.
Lawton Chiles says this line while criticizing Bush, calling him a liar, and Bush's reaction is that of complete confusion. After this very moment, Chiles guaranteed his position as governor. Chiles, at that moment, truly showed that he was a man of Florida. He was someone who loved the state he grew up in and truly understood it for its people and feelings. Bush was not even Floridian. He was born in Texas, while Chiles knew Florida like the back of his hand. Chiles' charm and exemplification of a wise sense of Florida pride was exhibited in that moment, and the people saw it too. His popular vote skyrocketed, leaving the overly confident Jeb Bush in the dust. The tactical stone-cold Bush was beaten by a jovial Floridian with an undying love for his state. He had charmed the crowd, so much so that in Jeb Bush's ending regards against Chiles when he says,
"Do you believe that Lawton Chiles has kept his word?"
the crowd is screaming,
as it relates to holding.
What changed after that debate was just sheer momentum. And everybody knew that this was going to be close, but everybody knew now that this could be achievable.
In the end, Chiles won the election by a margin of about 1.52%. He was only one of two Democratic candidates to hold their positions that night. Lawton pushed good policies in his second term, including an $11.3 billion lawsuit against the tobacco industry. Jeb, on the other hand, was still itching for governorship. In 1998, he ran against and promptly defeated Democratic candidate Buddy McKay, who Lawton backed. Sadly, though, just 23 days before retirement, Lawton Chiles passed away due to a heart attack on December 12, 1998. Jeb, understandably, took over governorship, where he would spend 2 terms in office. This wasn't particularly considered a loss for him, but it certainly sent him back. He did eventually take a jab at running for president in 2016, but he was soon drowned out by other candidates such as Ted Cruz. Epilogues aside, there's one last thing of importance to note about this election. Seen here was a Democratic candidate winning his election in the most hostile Republican environment the country has seen for a long time. It only goes to show how much power Florida truly has as a swing state. The fact that Lawton even won is a testament to the wide array of citizens found in the state, and just how open their minds are. Lawton pushed boundaries and made human connections, ultimately pushing this fine state of Florida into a brighter, more significant path.